Welcome to Wesley Impact. I'm Keith Garner. How important is it to support the family unit and also young people transitioning into adulthood? I'm at Wesley KickStart, part of our Take Charge of Your Life initiative developed by Wesley Mission. Through our family services, we offer support for many young people in foster care. We do all we can to ensure that young people who are with us and are then matched with families who can provide the support they need during their most important developing years. But the foster care system stops providing support for young people when they turn 18 years of age. And as a result, they have no option but to abandon many plans for further education and career development and entering the workforce to start earning an income. Without the support that many of their peers receive from their parents, such as paying for tertiary education and providing food and shelter, such young people are disadvantaged through the very important development years of their lives, 18 to 22. It's something I've campaigned on for many years. And through our Take Charge of Your Life programme, Wesley Mission provides the care and support young people need to enable them to participate in further education and learn skills which will lead eventually to better employment prospects. KickStart is an accommodation arm of that work, and as we see through the programme today, accommodation living quarters provide me, those that you see behind me here, provide the place for young adults to live and also share in common areas that they can develop friendships and live in a meaningful community with people at a similar stage of their life. Today I'll speak with Rita Karraz, a member of the team who oversees this very important work. I'm looking forward to hearing from Rita and some of the stories she's able to share about lives being turned around. Maybelle Galuvao and the Wesley Impact Band will join us from the studio to sing Say the Word. And I'll share some thoughts from the 13th chapter of Luke. But first, the work that we do here at KickStart and in other areas of our family services are helping to impact lives in a very positive way around our state. Let's take a look at the opening of one of our family centres in Bowerville in the northern part of New South Wales. The opening of these new offices today brings together two services, Wesley Youth Accommodation Services and Parents Next. Parents Next is a free Commonwealth Government funded programme designed to equip parents for future employment from the time their youngest child goes to school. It enables people who've been out of the workplace for a considerable period of time to get back into the workplace. Homelessness continues to be a challenge across the nation. Our crisis accommodation services is for young people here between 16 and 17 who require accommodation and assistance to transition to independent or stable accommodation. We know that this is a growing need. It's something that we ought to do, and it's something that we ought to do that enables young people to stand on their own feet and feel a sense of dignity and worth and value.
This is a vitally important service. As Minister, I put together the first youth employment strategy, and a key element of that is pre-employment, getting those barriers to employment solved. Having good accommodation is a foundation stone for employment and for education. As well as young people themselves, young parents need assistance into work. And the importance of a job for a parent can't be underestimated. It's just not the money, it's the self-esteem which comes from having a job. It's the self-esteem which comes from being able to provide for children, builds a stronger community. Employment is so much more than bringing a person and a job together. I think Wesley Mission is ticking a lot of boxes here, and Bowerville will be the richer for it.
We have seen a lot of results being in here. One was a young family. So when they came to us, We gave them one of our first transitional housing property in this area. Within 6 months, not only were they settled, had a safe place over their heads, they actually had a traineeship. And then, on top of that, because they could have had that place for at least 2 years, within 12 months, he said, "Nah, we are ready to move on. We got a rental history with you now. So we'd like this house to be given to somebody else so that they can have the same change in life that we have experienced." So now they are in a private rental. That traineeship has turned into a job. She's got another healthy, beautiful baby, and they are amazingly happy. So that's the result.
You know that we're a Christian community. So for me, I begin from that conviction that all people matter, that God's grace and love is stretched out to all people, irrespective of who they are, irrespective of where they've come from. So therefore we want to be a community reaching in that kind of way.
If you would like to learn more about Wesley Mission, visit wesleymission.org.au. You can find help in our community services, connect with our church and congregations, discover a volunteer role that suits you, stay up to date on the latest news and information, donate to support our work, and help make a positive difference in your community. You can also connect with us on social media and subscribe to receive the latest news and information about Wesley Mission directly into your inbox. Visit wesleymission.org.au.
Visit our website if you want to find more about the work of Wesley Mission, or if we can be of help to you or a loved one in any way possible. Today, as I've said, I'm at our Wesley KickStart in northwest Sydney. This is the accommodation arm of our Take Charge of Your Life programme, which we developed to support young people transitioning from foster care into independent living as young adults. To tell me more about this and other areas of our work we do with families and young people, I'm joined by a member of our team at Wesley Mission, Rita Karraz. Lovely to see you, Rita. Rita, tell us a little about the scope of the work you do.
I manage the Take Charge of Your Life program, and KickStart is part of that program, and we support young people as they transition out of foster care into independent living.
We said this a lot of times, and I don't think people always get it, what transitioning is all about, because surely, like everybody else, you reach a certain age and then you just get on with the next part of your life. What's the problem?
That's true. You do kind of become an adult, but there's a lot of skills that you have to learn along the way. And for young people in foster care, some of those skills just get missed. They can get missed for all sorts of different reasons. And our program just makes sure that we can just check that they've learned all the skills that they need to learn. They develop a way of thinking, to think independently, to have all the different aspects of life that they need developed into their daily living.
And I've campaigned, I've spoken to our own government people, the minister and the people who have responsibility at government level, how important it is to not believe when somebody reaches a magic age of 18 that they're out the door.
That's so true. It's so true, Keith. We know that although legally people are an adult at 18, it doesn't mean that they are an adult in all the skills that they need. And often children come and go from home and they need that ongoing support, and our program allows us to do that for young people in care. Although the government funding may stop, Wesley's support continues into adulthood.
I mean, many of us would say that some of the biggest lessons we learnt in life happened between those magic ages of about 18 and 22.
Absolutely.
When we not only are adults, we actually start to become adults. And some of the practical stuff is very, very... And have you seen some stories that are good stories of how this has impacted lives?
Absolutely. We've had young people who were living in cars, and I've had a phone call on a Friday afternoon saying a young person who was in foster care, things have gone astray for them and don't have anywhere to live, and I've been able to say, we've got a bed in KickStart, they can stay the night, and then we can work with them on even things like getting the papers they need for identification so they can get a driver's licence, or it might be helping them to get a job, it might be supporting them in all sorts of different ways. Sometimes it's around mental health, getting the kind of medical help that they need. Sometimes it's around relationships and connecting with people that will help them to establish their life into the future so that they have not only their own independent living skills but also have a community around them, so we might work around that. So it just depends on each young person and what they need.
Hey, let me wind back a little bit. Homelessness and foster care, what's the link?
Sometimes when young people turn 18 or even before, the relationship with the foster carers might break down, or even if they have a good relationship, sometimes just living in the home can't continue for a whole range of different reasons, and young people may want to break out and be independent and do their own thing, and then they find that just falls apart and they don't know where to go, and they can't always go back to the carers, but they can sort of connect with us and we can try and support them through that.
Rita,
again.
this is obviously a Christian programme and we speak into that space for many people. How does the Christian faith affect the work that you do?
I think one of the key things is it gives us hope. And one of the young people that was actually in the house once said to me, he goes, "How can you always be so hopeful? Like, my life is a mess, and you can support me and be hopeful in my future." And I guess that's one of the key things. And for me, I guess also personally, as the manager of the program, it means I'm not in control of everything, and I know that somebody else has got a hand over it that's much bigger than me, and that for me gives me a lot of peace.
In fact, many of our programmes, you can trace a God-given sense in which something happens. You say, "No, we couldn't have arranged that." Tell us one of the stories then, one of these great stories of things that have happened.
Yeah, a situation where we've had a young person who, when we looked at the criteria, really didn't fit for a whole lot of different reasons. And it's really difficult to say no to young people coming into the house, but we also have to manage that there are other young people, so we need to get the criteria right. In this situation, the young girl, we had said no. A whole lot of things happened that just ended up she was going to be here. And I remember saying to one of the other managers, "Look, this is in God's hands and it's his thing, and he obviously wants her to be here, so let's give it a go." She didn't stay for an extended period. She stayed for a couple of weeks, but that just gave some settling in time and a chance for her to regroup and for people to look at what's next.
And life skills that we talk about so often here, they're often things that are passed on through loving relationships more than, we don't say we're having our life skills moment here now in a home any more than here. It's just learned through people. And people make friendships here as well.
Yeah. And the staff, my team, are fantastic and connect really well with the young people. And it is about relationship, and it's not booking in, we're going to do cooking at 5 o'clock this afternoon, but it might be, you do want to cook the meal for the house tonight, and one of my staff may come and help them do that. So that's a really natural way of doing it. And more importantly, I think through some of that practical stuff, they're also talking through life plans and what do you want to achieve in life and how can we help you get there. But it's done in a natural way. It's not done sitting down with a book and ticking a list of things. It's done very
And
natural.
we at Wesley Mission, I personally will continue that campaign to make sure that we help government to understand that people need support, ongoing support, not just to some magic age. And we're just grateful that Wesley Mission and you are able to help and provide that, Rita, at this special time in people's lives. We're joined now by Maybelle Galuvao and the Wesley Impact Band in the studio to sing Say the Word.
Say the word and dead bones rise. you spelled out love. 'Cause when you say it is done, it is done. Yeah. Written in a billion skies, speaking to this heart of mine. All that I am with all creation, hanging on every word that you've spoken, and it will not be shaken. Clinging for life to all your promise, hanging on every word that you say. It will be there, and my soul will hang on every word you say. 'Cause I know your word will never ever fail, and my soul will hang on every word you say.
I'm at Wesley KickStart today, and while I'm here, I'd like to continue my thinking in Luke's Gospel. The passage I'm going to look at may seem a little out of place at this time of the year when we're making a journey through Lent, but I hope you can see the link. Let me read from Luke 13, 31 to 35. At that time, some Pharisees came to Jesus and said to him, "Leave this place and go somewhere else. Herod wants to kill you." He replied, "Go tell that fox. I'll keep on driving out demons and healing people today and tomorrow, and on the third day I will reach my goal. In any case, I must press on today and tomorrow and the next day, for surely no prophet can die outside Jerusalem. Jerusalem, Jerusalem, you who killed the prophets and stoned those who sent you, how often have I longed to gather your children together as a hen gathers her chicks under her wings, and you were not willing. Look, your house is left to you desolate. I tell you, you will not see me again until you say, 'Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord.'" I want you to notice that it was some of the leaders, the Pharisees, who warned Jesus that Herod wanted to kill him. Very important. We get bad pictures about the Pharisees, and it's important that we see these important instances where, in fact, they were helpful. In spite of some sense of opposition amongst many Pharisees, there were very likely groups of people who respected the teaching of Jesus, and Jesus responds to them with this warning. And we find a number of things that are helpful to us. Jesus is on his way. He's on a journey. We're told in verse 33, "In any case, I must press on today and tomorrow and the next day." There is a real sense in which he is on a journey, on a mission. And it may well describe the fact that all of us are on a journey, and life is not just static, it is constantly moving forward. Jerusalem is a city that did not live up to its name as a place of peace. It was known as a place of peace. But when you read these words, "Jerusalem, Jerusalem, you who killed the prophets, stoned those who sent you." And Jesus talks about longing to gather them like a mother gathers her chicks to herself. There's a real sense in which Jerusalem is not the Jerusalem that the Old Testament spoke about, that was known as a place of peace. It was very often a different kind of place. And Jesus Christ enters where he's invited. That's an important thing. Jesus said it to disciples so often when he sent them out. You must go to the places that are ready to receive you. Now, when you apply that now into a different kind of context, and you see that Jesus is talking not about disciples going into homes, but going into the city of Jerusalem, you realize that this is significant. It will not be that long before his preparations become far more acute as he prepares for his entry into the city and what will be the final entry into the city prior to crucifixion and then, of course, on to resurrection. Our time will come and we must be prepared to respond and to receive him. whatever is true within our lives. You see, the one thing I notice when I turn the New Testament and I look at the ministry of Jesus is that he didn't run away from tension and danger. He didn't avoid it. He faced up to it, whatever it was. And you could argue the exact opposite. He ran into trouble. He ran into conflict. He moved towards that which would eventually result in the cross. There is nothing more dangerous than the way of Jesus Christ, as he is prepared to lay down his life for his friends, to face the agony and the rejection that comes, even from those who were around him, and then disappear as disciples did into the night, and for those to even deny and betray him. If we are to experience the life of God, then we need to be prepared to face up to the challenges that will come to us. In an organisation like Wesley Mission, I frequently have to look at the area of risk. We talk about risk management. We look at all our areas and work out which are the areas and what are the mitigating factors and circumstances that we have to be engaged in to minimise those risks. When Jesus' ministry was at its very height, he had to be prepared to analyse, to look at the risks that were there before him. And this is the thing for me that is so penetrating about his ministry, is that he was prepared to take risks, costly risks, risks that would eventually lead to that greatest of all challenges, the risk of him laying down his life. It's hard to think that we've reached this point in Luke's Gospel, but I sense it, that the tone is somehow changing. We know that as the pages will turn, we will move towards the cross, and we will see there the great sacrifice as God in Jesus Christ lays down his life. And very soon, as we start to prepare ourselves for our Easter mission and for many of the things that will be part of our Easter, and I hope yours, we'll consider those risks and the fact that Jesus was prepared. I think one of the most penetrating verses in the New Testament is that Jesus set his face toward Jerusalem, and the disciples followed on. He wasn't a leader from behind. He led out from the front, and his leading from the front meant he was prepared to take the risk, and he was prepared to face the cross, and he was prepared to give himself completely.
If you would like to contact Keith and find out more about today's program, write to us at Wesley Mission, Post Office Box A 5555, Sydney South 1235, or you can send us an email to impacttv@wesleymission.org.au. On our website, you can catch up on past episodes of Wesley Impact, find out more about our work, read online magazines and articles, and connect with us on social media. You can also connect through Keith's blog and stay up to date on all the latest news and information from Wesley Mission, wesleymission.org.au.
Thank you for joining us. Throughout the work we do, Wesley Mission encourages young people to find purpose and meaning for their lives. For some, that comes through a conversation and spending time together, and for others it comes after spending time with mentoring and training. Yet, through Wesley Mission's Take Charge of Our Life programme, we create an opportunity for young people leaving foster care to receive ongoing support to enable them to continue their education and learning skills, from which will eventually, we hope, lead to full-time education and then to employment. All too often, people come out of the foster care system and are left to fend for themselves, ill-equipped for the challenges that lie ahead. Let's take a moment to hear from one of our own young people benefiting from the work that Rita talked about earlier in the programme.
Somewhere to call home and you'll have a roof over your head. The amount of help that they're going to bring to young people is absolutely crazy. If I had that insight and actually knew how to live by myself, I would have excelled a lot better in my life.
It's very important that we make a statement that when a person reaches 18, we have to do far more to help children in foster care.
It will really help people. They'll actually know how to live by themselves, and when they transition out, they'll know how to pay bills, they'll know how to cook, they'll know how to clean. But this age is where we really need to learn how to live independently.
It's finding the means to do something that is often as important as anything, and what we've done is bring people together and say, here is something you can do together, share the dream with us, and I hope there's many more dreams.
Oh, it's amazing. Like, I've had to look around to see how far it's come and to see how much effort people have put in. It really makes a difference, and to see those smiles on those kids' faces when they walk through the door, it's going to be a once in a lifetime opportunity.
I'm looking forward to hearing from more young people in due course who benefit from this Take Charge of Your Life programme and the Wesley KickStart accommodation facilities here that were able to provide help as they move from employment to adulthood and go on to live eventually free from any of the disadvantages that might have appeared to be theirs through their youth. You can find out more about this work and help to support us if you can by visiting our website. I must stress this isn't a government programme. This is something which we see as a missing piece to a puzzle in the welfare provided to disadvantaged and young people, and I'm not unafraid to rattle the can when needed. The contract details are on the screen now. We'll be here again next week, and I'll speak to Elizabeth James, a member of our team for over 15 years, who works with our young people aged between 15 and 18, being a mentor and providing important life and living skills where needed. Thank you once again. I look forward to seeing you next week. God bless you.
Wesley Mission walks alongside people of all ages struggling with homelessness, addictions, mental health issues and financial stress. To find out more, visit wesleymission.org.au.